Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee Chat with Lindsay and Neely.
Hey y'all, I have coffee too.
Hey. I have my regular coffee with cream.
We love it. We like to hear it. We like to see it. I don't know why my gestures aren't gesturing. If you can do it and I can't, I'm gonna have feelings. I currently have just some plain old black coffee.
I
Oh,
feel like
that's
we've been in a major rut recently, so much so that we should probably just stop telling anybody what's in our cups unless it's something different.
it's fair. It's fair. But I do have electrolytes today in the
I
cherry
also
chill variety.
nice, nice. I already used up all of mine.
Yeah, I
Are there any
really
any of the new flavors of salty that you liked so much that you ordered?
I have not placed any orders yet, to be honest, because we've been in a whirlwind of life for the past
Okay.
2 weeks or so.
Oh, that
But
makes
cherry chill is like top notch in my flavor palette. I love it.
it
Love the
is
cherry
very good.
chill. So
It
much
is
love.
very good. Yeah. Rickwin says, "I'm sounding a little bit better." Yes, not 100% yet. I don't know. This cold is taking me out. It's been, what, 2 weeks now?
It's a persistent situation, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. No, actually, I've been thinking about because okay, I don't know, maybe we could talk about this. The way that diet, nutrition, all of that messes with your head.
Yeah.
I dream of a day where I just have it all figured out, where I'm like, I know exactly what I need to do, and I know, like, if I just keep doing it, everything is perfect. Because, okay, so this is where I'm at. Because obviously I've made changes in my diet this last year where I've added more carbs. And so I get this cold and I'm like,
Sorry,
is
that
my
was
immune system
pretty low.
lowered? Is it the
Oh,
carbs
oh,
that's
maybe.
making me not able to fight off a cold anymore? So, of course,
Okay.
that's my first thought, and of course, that's what I'm expecting, the YouTube naysay commenters to
Sure.
say or to think, "Oh, that's it, she added carbs and now she has a cold." So I have that in my mind also, I'm not immune to that, obviously, my immune system is shot. But then also I'm, like, trying to think about it
Oh,
clearly
I got my
and, like, make choices about what I'm doing with my life, and what I think is probably more likely is that, um, I probably went a year without getting a cold at all,
That's
um,
impressive.
previous it was, and I was, like, shocked. I was like, "What is this?" I think part of it may have been that my immune system. Well, I was hyperthyroid,
Right?
and that is a very stressed state for your body to be in, and
Def
when you go through really stressful seasons, sometimes your body can just be like, "Nope, we don't have
all
the
done.
ability to fight this off, we're gonna save it for later." And my husband does the same thing, like, he will be in a very busy season of work, he won't get sick, and as soon as he has that vacation, that's when he gets sick, it's just a thing. And I think my body was just like, "We can't deal with these colds," as they were coming along, and now that my thyroid is in balance, my body is like, "All right, now's the time to get sick." And I'm like, "Well, I'm thinking about going back
Engage.
to thyroid."
Well, I don't understand biosciences all that well, like, to be honest.
Neither.
Um, I like to think that I can tease through a lot of different ideas, and come to some reasonable conclusions at times. Thought being, when you were hyperthyroid, your body, your immune system have been increased to try to combat that, and thus, like, maybe having an elevated immune system, fewer things were able to get through that line of defense.
That's
And
a possibility. I hadn't
n-
thought of that because hyperthyroid is everything's on overdrive,
sure, sure.
So maybe my immune system was on overdrive. That could have been it too. That's a good
You
point.
know, it's just, like, and I'm not saying that that has any scientific validity, but that was just something that's kind of, maybe if your body is continuously trying to do all the things, perhaps it will, continue.
Yeah.
So suppress
Yeah,
that.
that could be so, like, I would like to have something that I'm confident of.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
I have these ways that I'm leaning like, "Oh, that makes sense." But then it sure would be nice to think something 100% and be like, "I know for sure that this is it, and what I am doing is the right choice."
It would be really handy if our bodies would
Mm.
like give us some very clear, specific indicators. But that's like telling a 2-year old who has a limited vocabulary, you need to explain to me why you're having a hissy fit in the midst of a hissy fit. They can't verbalize it.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like I just need a, diet nutrition Bible, or maybe a
Oh,
guru
a
that knows
manual?
everything.
Yeah, solid. Solid. I'm
So, if you
for it.
know
Yeah.
anybody like that, let me know.
I'm taking applicants.
Yeah, so it's like, we've talked a lot about, uh, how we don't just follow one guru and how that can get you to be in a really dogmatic place of, well, this person says that that's not the way it is. So therefore, whatever you're feeling must not be true or legitimate.
Sure.
We really reject that. But let me tell you, the appeal of having a system like that, like the idea that there could be something I can just say, "I believe this 100%, and it is or it isn't, and black and white," that would be
Clear
nice.
as crystal.
I get why people are drawn to live in that kind of a dogma. Dogma is very cut and dry. It's it's very yes or no, it's very black or white. And, sometimes that would be nice.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. And it's one of those things where we're inundated with more information than our brains can tolerate. So if we just had a simple, like straight and narrow path to follow and
Yes.
never had to deviate or make the decision to go off course,
Mm.
then it eliminates that one stressor. It's like Steve Jobs, whenever, like he would dress himself
Yes.
in his black turtlenecks and whatnot. It was just like, he made the decision once and carried on with the rest of his life. And I mean, I do similar things. Like I make the decision to do something specific and then I just carry on. I already made the
Mhm.
decision. So it's so simple. But then, somebody throws a monkey wrench into the equation and I'm like, things aren't working quite so well anymore. Who did that and why? And now how do we
Yeah,
resolve that issue?
so
So
unhelpful.
it's unhelpful at large. I do want to go back. I mean, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat too,
Yes,
because
same.
we're so happy that you're here. We are.
Yes, we are.
But I do want to come back to the whole like illness on keto concept, if we could, whenever we're done talking to all of our
Yes,
fantastic friends here.
yes. So Rickwin is here, of course, from chilly North Carolina. Jen is here from New York having a sugar-free iced caramel cold brew. That sounds
Sounds sweet.
delicious. Cindy is here. Hello, Cindy and Blaze. Let's see. Dustin is here. Good morning, Dustin. Beth is here. Serendipity04 from Colorado, drinking electrolytes. Great
Are
choice.
you able to go snow skiing or snowboarding yet out there in Colorado? Inquiring minds want to
Excellent.
know.
Excellent. Let's see. Jeff was just talking about how he might start taking Levi to learn to ski.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right. Because he's given up on taking me to do sports like that.
I mean,
So maybe Levi will be the one.
I feel like cross country skiing would actually be really solid for you.
I probably could make that happen.
I mean, it's like walking but on long pieces of wood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Sliding.
yeah, you're just skate skiing would actually be way more fun in my opinion. I haven't done that yet, but I think it
Oh,
would be
yeah.
really much more fun because you can move faster, but you don't have to worry about like finding a place that has a bunch of lifts and runs and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like a cool idea.
It's just so much effort to do any of those things. Just
Says
like,
the
I need
woman who
let's just go
trained
hiking.
to run long distances. Says the woman.
Well, that takes a lot less gear.
I mean, that is fair. But people can get a little carried away on the
That's
shoes
true.
and the clothes and stuff. I mean,
That's true.
and my theory is once you've bought
Anyways.
the equipment, you're
Yeah,
done. Like you just
yeah,
wait for the weather window.
right. Well, we'll see. Once we've bought the equipment, I'll see where I'm at that point.
Okay. All right, it's fair. And if you buy it secondhand, it's all the less like painful.
Right, right. Okay, Cindy agrees that Cherry Chill is great.
I
Very
mean,
good.
they
I mean,
nailed
the
it.
other 2 are not bad either, let me tell you what, they're all good. I do like the grapefruit. I mean, Jeff was pretty rough on it in his review. I don't
You
know
know,
what it was.
but that's why we love Jeff. We love the Jeffisms, the Jeff interjections, the genterjections, if you will. We appreciate so much that he is willing to just like come in, be himself in a world where people feel like they need to put on a mask.
It is
And he
true,
can just
and
say the things.
he's so much opposite of putting on a mask that he even, like, pushes to be more controversial. Like, I think it's not just like, "I'm just gonna say what I think." It's, "I'm
I'm gonna
gonna,
aggressively.
I'm gonna aggressively say what I think," yes.
I
And
mean,
we need that in the world.
I think that's why we kind of dig Jeff.
But I genuinely do like the grapefruit salty.
Mhm.
Like, I thought it was genuinely good. I apparently he did not.
And that's
But not
okay.
everything is for everyone. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, more for me. All right, let's see. Yeah, starve a cold.
Feed a fever.
What if you have a cold and a fever at the same time?
Well,
That's
the fever takes precedence on that old
okay.
wives' tale, I believe.
Okay, good. There's an order of operations.
There is. Yeah, it's like algebra, but different and not algebra.
Yeah. Chris Bear is here. Hello. Let's see. Racine is here. Good afternoon. Catching the chat on my lunch. Your chats are not only informative, but a delight that warms our hearts to
We
hear.
appreciate that deeply.
Yes, we do. From snowy Northwest Ontario. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you. I am feeling better. It's
You
just
just sound a little
my voice. You know, I
raspy.
wake up and I have to cough, but at least I'm sleeping. That was the hard part when it was really rough, is like not having good sleep on top of being sick is the
Right.
worst. It's like add
Yeah.
insult to injury, why don't you?
Well, then you stress about it too because people tell you the best medicine for being ill is rest. So
Yeah,
go rest. And you're like, I'm doing my best to get the rest.
my
It's just
body
not
is not cooperating. No, I've slept so good the last couple of nights.
That's a huge win.
Yes. Do, do, do. Viruses like to trip us up in our life, new germs all the time challenging you. Yes, we do have to remember every time we get a cold, our immune system is getting stronger. And
What
I
does
mean, whatever doesn't
it
kill you make
take?
you strong. If it kills you, then obviously that wasn't
Well, then you
that didn't
don't have to
work
worry
out.
about it anymore.
But yeah, as long as you make it through, you get no stronger immune system.
I don't know. I feel like
Oh goodness.
ultimate win on a virus if it kills you, but then you're like, now what are you gonna do? Now what? Can't do it anymore.
I think it is starve a cold, feed a badger.
Mhm.
I seem to remember that that's it. Just like your Bucky. Wait, what is Bucky? Is he a badger? No, he's not a badger. He's a beaver.
Yeah, Bucky
Yeah,
the
Bucky
Beaver.
the beaver.
Yeah, he's got real big teeth. Is it a
Oh,
luxury in
goodness.
the keto space if somebody is not wearing some form of a Bucky's
Mm,
attire or utilizing a Bucky's cup? I don't think it is.
yeah, it's true. Bucky's is special. Let's see. Progress and Transformation is here from New York City.
Hello.
Um, yes, Rickwin, probably not just black and white. It is all shades of gray. So not one way to do something. It changes all the time. And that's what's so frustrating about it.
Well, and I tell you what I find to be very challenging is whenever you have researched something or you have sought an answer to a question you have and you say, okay, I'm going to act on this information.
Mm.
And then you share with others, oh, I'm acting on this information at this time in my life. The only thing they hear is I'm acting on this information. And then whenever you gather more information that may shift your
Yes.
trajectory, they can't go on that adventure with you very well. Like it takes them a while to get on board with the fact that like, oh, I my quest veered off to this direction real fast. So I'm going to head that way instead of the
Yeah.
straight trajectory that I was on. And it like really throws people for a loop. And you're like, you
Yeah.
think you're thrown for a loop. I'm the one living it.
Yeah. Well, and then YouTubers often don't help the situation by, these
Yeah.
huge pronouncements, "I'm quitting keto." And you're like,
You're like,
"Okay, so
great
you're
video
adding
title.
an apple to your diet every day? Great." Like, is it really that, like,
Pipe down,
dramatic?
Paul Saladino Jr.
It's not I mean, it's not like you're going from carnivore to vegan, like, make a big pronouncement if you do that.
I mean, yeah. And be prepared for your teeth to fall out, possibly.
Maybe. Maybe no, maybe you might just need all that vitamin C that you're gonna get that you hadn't been getting on your carnivore diet, and everything will be great for a little while.
Although, if carnivores are eating the livers, they should be okay.
That's true.
According
That's
to
true.
popular information on the YouTubes that I do not have
Well,
vetted science to back up.
also, speaking of not vetted science, when you're carnivore, you don't need as much vitamin C. So
Right.
there. Okay, so I have
Yep.
had this theory
Uh-oh, here
that
we go, people.
for a long time, and I haven't had the wherewithal to test it out, but I was like, I bet you could get really healthy by taking, like, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe let's say 7 of the most extreme diets that you can think of. Carnivore, like no fat vegan, um,
30.
Whole30, PSMF, fasting, maybe we could throw that like find 7 of
Yeah,
them and do 1 a day. And so every week it's like Monday is vegan, Tuesday is carnivore,
sure.
Thursday is Whole30. I
Diet
bet you could
roulette.
get really healthy because you're getting a ton of variety.
Yes.
Your body is getting those
Okay.
breaks, from blood sugar swings.
Sure.
Kinda like you're getting those fasting windows, whether it's through carnivore or through actual fasting. Even if you just, like, switched between vegan and carnivore at some interval, I bet
Yeah.
you could get real healthy. Like, you're not carnivore long enough that you lose all of your gut microbiome to be able to digest
Process
fiber.
the food.
Yeah, and you're not vegan long enough that you get rid of all your, digestive juices to digest meat. It's like, I don't know, every day or every 2 days, I don't know how long, but I bet you could get really healthy that way.
Well, I think that's a fascinating idea that we should test out, and I think it's called diet roulette.
Yeah. Ooh, that
For
would be
the
fun. I
oh
mean,
man,
in a certain way, it would be fun.
I do think that there would have to be like at least like a loose parameter on the fact that it would all have to be whole foods based, like
Right.
processed foods out, and you can move forward. I mean, okay,
Yeah, no
okay,
standard American diet days.
all right. All food is processed to some degree,
Yes,
right?
yes. By our
So
teeth.
no industrially processed
Ultra
foods, ultra
processed. Is a
processed,
good
but even
word.
that
Yeah,
requires a definition.
for
What if
sure, for sure.
we got we gotta work it all out? I'm sorry, I gotta take
We
my
do.
socks off my feet.
We will work it all out, and it'll all be in our new ebook that will be for
That's right.
sale,
We also might
Diet
put
Roulette.
together. That's right, Diet Roulette by Neely and Lindsay, and we'll have out a 12-month calendar so you can follow it 365 days a year.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm just
all right.
teasing.
And
I
then,
actually
you can pay the extra monthly fee to be part of our
in the
group and get all the new updates and stuff too.
Solid.
And there's
Solid
special
business
products
model.
that we're gonna be coming out with as well, because
100%.
any diet needs special products that are vetted by us and created by us.
Yeah, I mean, Weight Watchers wouldn't be where they are without their products.
Yeah. Coming 2025.
Allegedly.
Oh dear. If anyone is just joining us for the first time, God bless you.
We speak sarcasm fluently. We also create much satire. I'm gonna mute for a second.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right. Crystal is drinking one of my last chai latte keto chows. That was a very divisive flavor, and I'm glad that you're enjoying yours. I don't know, Renee might have like cleaned us out of all of the chai latte.
Wow.
'Cause she loved it. That was one of her favorites, which is very interesting. She has a very interesting palate because
Yeah.
since she was little, she would come up and just eat raw cabbage when I'm like chopping up cabbage. She's like, "Can I eat?" She doesn't want it cooked. She wants it raw and
It's
plain.
got that good crunch.
She loves that. She loves seaweed. She loves cilantro. When I have cilantro, I'm cutting up. She's like, "Can I have one?"
Caitlin does that. She'll open the fridge and pop leaves of cilantro. You know,
Yeah.
like I like to store bunches of cilantro in like little glass jars of water,
Or
right? She'll just chomp away on a little cilantro. And I'm like, do you
yeah,
want some cumin with that?
yeah. Well, and then she doesn't like strawberries. It's like,
Yeah, I mean
what
it's a weird
is
fruit with its seeds on the outside. That's not normal. That's not
anyway, yeah,
normal.
she has a very interesting palate there. But what was I
But
saying
we
she
love
liked?
Renee.
Oh, the chai latte. She loves the chai latte.
I feel like
Anyway.
chai latte probably sits in the same category as peaches and cream and grape.
Mhm,
Those
mhm.
those were divisive.
Yes. Yes, they were. I never got to try the grape. One day,
Same.
maybe they'll bring it back for me.
I never tried grape and I never tried peaches and cream, but I also have heard the reviews of it tasting just like the lotion scent, which that's
I
a
don't
very
enjoy them.
intriguing flavor that I'm not sure I want to consume, but maybe
Yeah.
I will use it in a Bath and Body product.
Right. Well, I'm really weird about my, like, soaps and lotions and stuff. If it's really floral, it's like, I don't want it like, I don't wanna eat.
No,
If my hand smells if I'm like, "Huh, huh." I'd rather have it smell like citrus or even
Oh,
lavender is fine
for sure.
because it's just like, it needs to be something that I'm okay eating.
Yeah, I agree. I've got a soap that's a goat milk soap that has, I think it has like rosemary and lavender in it. And I'm like, this is good. I
Yeah.
dig this.
Yes.
Although Mrs. Myers came out with, like their holiday scents of all of their
Mhm.
products or whatever. And I'm not endorsing Mrs. Myers, but I also don't buy scented like cleaning supplies frequently, except for like I buy their hand soap that's like the rainwater one that's kind of fresh.
Mm.
Doesn't matter. We're getting off topic. They came
Mm.
out with their peppermint scent, and I was like, peppermint is one of those ones like that one
Mhm.
is a solid yes for me, like a
Yeah.
super yes for me. So I got a couple of those containers, and the girls were like, "You're not going to use these till December." And I was like, "I kind of wanted to use them now, but I guess I'll wait."
Well, it's December now.
It is December now, so we
December
gotta.
comes fast.
It does.
I can't believe it's already December 4th. All right. Serendipity 04. I'm in Colorado Springs. It snowed a light dusting 2 times. I don't ski anymore. Oh, yeah. I don't ski anymore either. I've actually never been skiing once.
Well, that's disheartening. Um, I love snow skiing, but we're learning to snowboard, and the slopes that are kind of around us, I wouldn't call them like like the slopes. I would call them little like hills. They think they're intermediate, but they're not. We're gonna be hopefully checking out when we can go and snowboard more because they finally are opening up the lifts this coming Thursday, like so tomorrow. And I'm like, how do we function? How do we get this into the mix? Because last year we were at the tail end of the season when we first started, trying out the whole snowboarding thing. And I'm like, I want to maximize my opportunities to break an arm this season. Let's do it.
Good. Living life on the edge of
Always.
the arm.
That's right. I mean, did y'all see my video about Keto Chow's Black Friday sale that has passed? The very tail end of the video there.
Oh, yeah, the kiteboarding. That looked awesome. I would do that, I think.
You would fly through the air and have the kite drag you.
Well, over water, that sounds better than over snow. I went snowboarding one time, and I can't believe I didn't break my wrists. Like, I am not built for it. But I can fall into water.
Yeah. And you're not going fast enough where you like would feel like you're hitting like a sheet of glass. So that's
right.
good.
Right. So Dustin tried the cherry chill on the live last night, and Chandra didn't like it. What? She likes everything. If you guys haven't watched Dustin and Chandra, she doesn't like everything. She's similar to Jeff in that she will say what she thinks. Yeah.
It's a good trait. I mean, every couple needs one.
I mean, Mr. Weak Orange. I mean, it just makes sense. You have a zesty orange. Not everyone likes zesty. You need a weak orange. Obviously. Obviously.
I feel like if you grew up eating grapefruit, like out in Texas, and like you open up the grapefruit and you sprinkle the salt on top and you dig it out with your little grapefruit spoon that has the little serrated teeth on the side, like then you would find it way more identifiable.
I know he likes grapefruit and he drinks grapefruit juice. I don't know what. I don't know.
Sometimes we can't explain our people.
No, we can't. Well, and then there are times where it's like, so I'm the cook in the house, if anyone didn't know. He doesn't cook much at all. And he prefers it that way, so it's fine. And there'll be times where I make a certain dish and he doesn't like it for whatever reason. And he'll tell me, I mean, that's fine. I'm used to it. And I'll make it again months later and he'll love it. And I'll make it exactly the same way. There's something going on here. Well, the one thing about Jeff is he's very much I don't know if a black and white kind of person is the right term, but it's like he's either all for it or all against it. He's not just like a wishy-washy go with the flow kind of guy.
Sure. Yeah.
He's like, if we're going to do something, we're going to be 100% about why we're doing it and how we're doing it and that we're doing it. Either that or we're 100% about why we're not doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's like, I don't know. He just, he tasted something he didn't like. And it wasn't like, oh, I can overlook that. It's like, I don't like that.
Not only that I don't like it, but I need everybody on this entire planet to understand that I don't like it. Yeah. I mean, I feel that. I feel that deeply as an extremist in some categories. Is he is he not extreme in any category? Like, is there any category in which he can be like, I'm kind of indifferent? Okay. So moving right along. Like there's some categories.
He's a very intense person. Let's just say that.
Yeah. He is that. Yeah. We thoroughly enjoyed our time with you and Jeff.
I know.
And we can't wait to do more.
We got to do it again. Let's see. Kelly is here. So glad to catch alive. Hello. That which doesn't kill you only postpones the inevitable. True. But it might make you stronger in the meantime. Lori is here. Watching a live for the first time in a long time. I'm actually recovering from my second cardiac surgery yesterday. Oh my goodness. Hoping for fast recovery. It is hard because I also have wet AMD. I don't know what that is. Do you?
I am unfamiliar as well.
It sounds difficult, whatever it is. And second cardiac surgery yesterday. Well, take it easy. Let me tell you what. I hope we don't make you laugh too much or something.
You need to lower the pressure in the skull cavity zone.
Exactly. Oh, Dustin has his Bucky's cup, the big red Bucky's cup
You
for
know,
Sunday Morning Lives.
when we
Oh,
chose
fun.
we are fond of finding coffee cups or Christmas ornaments because then we can either actively use them regularly or we can bring them out and we can reminisce during a period of time and then they can go back into storage and not be like a constant dust collector.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody chooses their knickknacks the way they choose them, right? But these cups, they had this with the dark gray, they had a yellow, they had a red, and we just felt like this was the most us. They also had the ones that were
Very
like printed on, but this is like actually glazed, like
nice.
enameled, like etched in there almost. So we felt like this is probably going to last a while compared to some of those like screen printed ones. So we rather
Next
like our Bucky's cup.
next time I'm in Bucky's territory, I might have to look for one of those because I don't have a Bucky's cup. I bought a child a Bucky's T-shirt.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the only Bucky's thing that we have.
Paraphernalia you own.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So
some
I'm
people get really serious about it. They even buy like disposable plates and things like that to you, or not disposable. They're actual plates, like melamine kind of like
uh-huh,
plates.
uh-huh. I mean, you can get pretty
That's
much
kind of big with the Bucky's
anything
logo
with
on it.
Bucky on it when you go to Bucky's. They have so many things. It's ridiculous.
It is very impressive.
Risa is here for a short while, having Southern Ketos bread with cream cheese and tinned fish. That is an interesting
Combo.
lunch. Yeah, you said lunch. Yep. Sounds very nutritious. I have not tried Southern Ketos bread. I have not made a keto bread in quite some time, to be honest.
I actually took the my keto tortilla wraps,
Mhm.
like took the dry ingredients with us when we went down to Texas for Thanksgiving and made the most fantastic lasagna. I love doing that. Um, so that gestures didn't
Rude.
like it. So uh that would be the most bread-like thing that I've created in probably about, I don't know, a month.
Yeah. Um, I've been I don't know. I'm just sharing all my little thoughts here today, I guess. I have experienced since adding carbs back in and like adjusting to it because it's not like an automatic thing, just less interest in food in general,
Interesting.
which is weird.
Yeah.
um, just like I'm like, I'm hungry, but I don't really want to eat. Like, I don't know if it's just that I'm filling up all of my um taste needs.
Categories.
Yeah, or all the macronutrients, like I'm getting my fat, I'm getting my protein, I'm getting my carbs, and there's just not this drive to be like, "Oh, XYZ would be so good right now." I just I that kinda has been diminished. And so going into the holiday season, it's kinda weird because, like, there are foods available that, like, I totally could eat,
Hmm.
but I'm like, "I guess I just won't."
Yeah.
And
Um,
it's a different kind of I just feel like I'm in a different kind of situation because it's not like, "Oh, I'm on keto, so I can't eat that." Even though, we always say, "Oh, you don't say you can't eat it, you say I'm choosing not to,
sure.
blah, blah." There's still something like, if I eat that, it's off plan. Like, it just
Sure.
like that all of that has been completely taken away from me, and so I think I'm more in tune with, do I really want to eat it or not? Rather than, like, the temptation to do something naughty.
Sure, sure.
It's kind of
Um,
weird.
it neutralizes any sort of like upholder of regulations or rebeller, like a rebel against
Yes,
it neutralizes that. I
yes.
wonder though, you talked about like, this cold is just kind of like hanging on by a thread here lately. Do you think that has any impact on your
It could,
desire to eat foods?
it could. That could be playing into it as well. But I feel like it's been longer than this is I've been
Sure.
noticing this trend longer, but that definitely could be playing into it in the last week or 2 for sure.
Sure. Okay, follow-up question.
Uh-huh.
Um, so you've added in plenty of whole food carbs as
Mhm.
of late. Have
Mhm.
you felt any kind of desire towards more of the baked treats since doing that? I mean, because you can make a fairly, I don't enjoy this word, but clean kind of baked treat or a pudding or something like that, or
Yeah.
a cobbler with fresh fruit and something to that degree. um but have you felt any kind of a tug towards those things since freeing up your food selections lately?
So, I have been indulging in more of those kinds of like, the healthy one, like because we use einkorn flour in the
Right.
house, and so, uh, we'll occasionally, make an apple crisp or something, so it's like
Sure.
it's not like I'm eating a giant cake or anything like
Right.
that. It's like but it is in there, like, so I'll have the occasional oats,
Hmm.
occasional, einkorn flour. I'm
Yeah.
eating, like, chocolate that has real sugar in it, like, pretty much every day,
Wow.
and, um, so I guess, yes, I'm drawn to it, like, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that sounds good," but I have not had the, "It's calling my name, I have to go eat the entire thing." I have not had any of that.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
yes. Well, and it goes back to the psychology of restriction. When I say, "I can't have XYZ," it opens the door to, "Well, I'll be naughty a little bit, and then I have to eat the whole thing to get rid of it because the famine is coming tomorrow where I'll never have it again." And that is this it's so deceptive, and honestly, like, looking back at myself in those times, especially when it's combined with undernutrition, you can,
Yeah.
um, you can kinda live in this more restrictive mindset in a little bit healthier of a way because some restriction is good sometimes
Sure.
from certain things, um,
Sure.
but if you have the combination of, like, restrictive, how whatever that is to you, like, whether it's I'm restricting to only keto foods or I'm restricting to only carnivore foods or only vegan foods or whatever, any restriction, that combined with restriction of amount where you're actually not getting enough nutrition for your body, it just creates this binge and purge cycle that for a lot of people is just impossible to stay away from, like, y it's like hanging on the side of a cliff. You could do it for a while, but y or, stretching a rubber band. You can do it for a while. Eventually, it's gonna break, unless, someone has you locked up and they're controlling the food that you eat. Um, and so for me, I've found that even though I haven't been in a place where I've been extremely restrictive, like, um I've been on keto, but I still was allowing myself to eat for the most part as much as I want. I wasn't uh, I didn't, I wasn't under eating, I guess I could say. But even the amount of restriction that I had as far as food types was feeding into a, um, I have to eat it all to get it out of the house, or I'll just eat it this once and then tomorrow I'll never have it again. And so, um, if you've been in the dieting mindset, you probably know what I'm talking about. But when you take that away and like all the food in the house I can have whenever I want, there's no reason to make yourself sick eating an entire whatever it is. Like,
Mm,
that it just takes away, like, that even would be appealing. The only thing that
yeah,
makes that appealing is, "I'm never gonna have it again, so I need to get as much as possible before
sure.
that time." And so I wasn't in, like, an extreme version of that, but
Yeah.
I still had that kind of, playing into my food choices,
Yeah.
to a degree. And
Sure.
completely, like, saying, I can even have I mean, I'm still not eating white flour, I'm not eating things with, seed oils, at least I mean, there are a few occasional things I'll have here and there with seed oils in them, but they're not usually in the house, and it's, anyways. So, there is still a level of restriction that I adhere to, but my diet has opened up so much more that I just feel I could feel the contrast of the way that I used to think about food and the food reactions that I would have because I'm trying to just um observe my behavior, like kind of step outside of myself and observe like, oh, I was making these choices around food and I think it was because of these reasons, and now that I've made these changes, I see that I don't have um that pull or that knee-jerk reaction, when there's a special dessert in the house or when there's a box of keto bars in the pantry. It's like
Mm.
I have a couple of boxes of these, keto they're not keto bars, but they're keto bars, that I really liked for a long time, and I, like, had to struggle not to eat more than 1 a day or whatever, and they've been sitting in my pantry, like, I have almost 2 boxes sitting in my pantry, and they've been there for, like, 2 months, and I haven't even had the thought to eat them, and it's just like, what is that? Because that's what I'm interested in. I spent
Yeah.
a whole lot of time in my diet world trying to think, "What will in order X, like, first of all, I was never able to maintain whatever those rules were in order to maintain the results that I wanted, at least, not in a livable way. And so now I'm really focusing more on like the psychological side of it and um the way that food choice affects my knee-jerk reactions because
Mm.
we can actively try to control our actions. And that is
Sure.
one way to do things, and a lot of people do and have success, with that, and there's a certain amount of that you do have to do, but then
Mhm.
what I am finding is really powerful is, ways that you live and choices that you make that affect your default. Like, if
Sure.
I'm not thinking about it, um, what choices do I make just in the moment?
Just an
Uh
autopilot kind of a thing.
Yes, autopilot. Um, and so and that's a lot more tricky, like, it that's where, like, the gray comes in, like, trying to figure all that out. And black and white is easy, like, only eat 1,500 calories and you only eat 20 or fewer carbs. Like, that's easy black and white, like, active, control. And
Sure.
I've done enough of that that I'm like, I don't wanna live that way. You
Yeah.
know? Like, oh, that's just, it's exhausting. And so now, like, just trying to think through all of these lifestyle things and things that will push me to make choices that I ultimately want to make, but without the grit and the effort and the white knuckling against, everything in me saying that I don't want to do that thing. If that makes sense.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, it does. I think it's fascinating to think about different people. We're all different to a certain
Yes.
degree, right? We're
Yep.
very similar in a lot of different things. To me, having that freedom, maybe okay, hold on, reverse. I think that might be a testament to the amount of healing that you have
Mhm.
reached, because at this stage of my life I've been ketoing for almost 9 years at this point. And at this point of the game, if I go through and like I'll eat some sweet potatoes occasionally when I feel like I need to, but if I were to say I am allowed to eat unlimited, or I have unlimited access to the sweet potatoes in my house without being mindful of it,
Mhm.
I don't know what that would do to me, because I think that that would cause me to have additional cravings where I would wind up being like, I could probably go ahead and get away with something else. Who knows what else? Like, oh, I can make homemade pancakes with high quality ingredients, with, real, like with honey and with, you know, quality flour, ancient flowers, or whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. And that would send me into a tailspin. It would just stir up those little like sugar monsters. I tell the girls, I just choose not to eat sugar because I don't like who I am on sugar.
Mhm.
And it just, for me, I'm not at a place where I could do that. So it kind of, to me, makes me think the amount of healing that you have achieved over this past, however long, has really worked. Whether it is, like going through all of the different SIBO protocols that you did, or working through your hyperthyroid issues that swung
Mhm.
over hypo and then like are starting to normalize or whatever. Your body has achieved some levels that are allowing you to have a different autopilot experience. And I
Mhm.
think that's amazing. Um, at this point in the game, for me, autopilot means that I don't even have to question whether or not I'm going to um, eat whatever sweet treats are created, whether
Mhm.
it's a chocolate pie or a like a pumpkin sopapilla cheesecake, or whatever crazy awesome sounding concoction anybody in my life could create. I don't have to question if I'm going to be drawn to that, because at this stage of the game, I'm just not. And
Yeah.
abstinence for me, it's that's my autopilot. Now, I can't guarantee that it's not a learned autopilot for the past almost 9 years, because in the beginning, it was more of a mental gymnastics operation to get to the place where I'm like, okay, I know that I don't want to eat that because I know that results in this in my body. And I had to go through and mentally think through each like factor of that equation before coming to the conclusion, like, yes, I'm going to choose to say no.
Mhm.
Nowadays, it's just like, no, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna like not
Just
even, yeah, just breeze on by it without
yeah.
considering the ramifications. And there could be a day where I develop enough healing or have gotten to a place where I feel I am capable of consuming higher amounts of carbs for whatever reason,
Mhm.
whether it's the simplicity sake of
Mhm.
everybody all in this together, having all of the fellowship or what have you,
Yeah.
or if it's okay, my hormones require a different level of carbs at this stage of life or whatever. I can't quite pinpoint as I spit on myself, pinpoint why I would need additional carbs, because at this point in the game, my body says no. It's not a challenge for me. And who knows, that could change someday. And I do think that there is a layer of wanting to have a more complete healing experience to where we are not so finite and only allowing ourselves this little narrow window of food options, or if you're vegan, over here this narrow little food option window, or whatever the case may be. um I do think that we are omnivores, and that we do obtain much nutrition from a broad variety of foods.
Mhm.
Otherwise, as a species, we might not have made it over
Mm.
these past
Mhm.
6,000 years. So it's one of those things where I think that healing could come someday, but at this stage of the game, I'm pretty okay with where I'm sitting, and I don't
And
feel like it's a challenge.
that's great. Yeah. And I listen to a lot of diet, nutrition, health people, like, from various backgrounds and ideas. And there's definitely, like, the intuitive eating world where they're like, "Oh, you just listen to your body, and, the problem with the world is, or, like, the reason for the unhealth is because of dieting, and you just gotta get out of the diet mentality." And I feel like there is a nugget of truth there, but then I look at it and I'm like, but clearly there's something wrong with the standard American diet. It's not just that people are, yo-yo dieting And if they just stopped
Right.
that, then everything would be fine. Like there's something wrong. So it's
Sure.
like you can't just be like, well, the only problem is dieting. So if you just get rid of the dieting mindset, everything will work out. No, there's there's all of it. Like, and so you just kind of have
Yeah.
to, and you see people go all in on the intuitive eating thing, and getting rid of the diet mindset and thinking that's going to fix all of their problems. And then you also see people on the no, food is the problem and you need to eat the right kind of food to be healthy. And they go all in on that. And that doesn't always fix all of their problems. And so for me, it's finding where on the scales of all of these different things do I need to land in
Hmm.
order to live my best life? And like you were saying about wanting maybe at some point wanting variety for fellowship, that's something that I've always thought about with like I did missions work in my teens, going to Africa and helping build an orphanage and doing these things. And I'm like, what if I had the opportunity right now to go to Africa and do something amazing, and I was carnivore and felt like I couldn't eat anything but meat or else I would be terribly sick? I'd be like,
Right.
I couldn't just go and do that. Like, I couldn't
No.
unless
Mm-mm.
I somehow only brought carnivore crisps or something. And so, and as much as, people say, well, carnivore is the best, most nutritious way to eat. Maybe that's true, but it would restrict my opportunities in life. I want to be able to serve people. I want to be able to receive from people. If we were to, be invited to a neighbor's house and they were gonna prepare a meal, I don't want to have to be the person that's like, I can't eat anything. I'm gonna bring my own little um,
Painter.
container of grass-fed beef that I made myself. It's like I
Yeah.
don't that's not the life that I want. Now, if I were to have cancer or some debilitating disease that was ruling my life, that
Yes.
would make more sense. And I might be okay with having that kind of life over the life of being sick all the time.
Right.
But where I'm at right now, I have chosen I'm going to try to work on my health, both mentally and physically, like my gut health, all of that, so that I can eat as broad of a diet as possible while still maintaining a level of health that I am comfortable with. Um, because it just opens up more opportunities for me.
Sure. Well, and you
And
think about
that's
it.
what I want ultimately.
Yeah. And if your heart is to serve your family, your people in your community, and people at large, one of the best ways you can do that is by saying, I can show up in your space and offer help to whatever degree I can or whatever degree you require. And if you choose to bless me back with like nourishment, I'm going to be appreciative of that and not get hurt by it. So
Yeah,
it allows you to bless others while others can also offer some form of a blessing back to you. And I do
yeah,
think that feeding your people and feeding those just people in general is one of those things that we feel like we are giving of ourselves to someone,
yeah,
and we want to know that we are able to give rather than to always have to receive.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Crystal
We've
Harris
missed a lot of comments.
Crystal Harris wants a peach cobbler keto chow. That sounds
But
good.
Chris made a comment on that one.
Did he? I'm
He
just imagining,
did.
like, the little like, peachy flavor, but with cinnamon and, like, butter.
Butteriness, a
Yeah,
little bit of that cakiness to it, a
that
little bit, a little bit.
sounds good. Okay, Chris says, "Oh, that's the snickerdoodle plus peaches and cream. Given how poorly the peaches and cream sold, I'm not planning to re-release it anytime soon." Very sad. I bet you could find some kind of a peach extract to add to the snickerdoodle.
Probably. I bet Olive Nation has something like that.
I'm
Um,
sure.
I wonder, given the fact that I know that Salty creating new flavors, with their new releases, I know it was probably a tremendous amount of time, effort, energy, etc. peach didn't work out as a keto chow flavor, could peach or nectarine or something of that nature work out as an electrolyte for salty?
Yeah, because
I'm sure
cherry
they've
hasn't worked out for keto chow, but apparently they
right.
made it work for salty.
I mean, and it just kind of logics that if one doesn't necessarily work in a milk product line, perhaps it could work in an electrolyte format. And then we could literally just take the chayote squash that we all can use like as an alternative if we're not choosing to eat peaches, and sprinkle a peach electrolyte all up in there, a little bit of
Mm,
allulose, a little bit of cinnamon. Like, look at us concocting all of the perfect recipes
yep.
right here. It's happening.
Except they're all dependent on Chris making this flavor though. So it's on you, Chris.
I
The
feel like
ball
he's
is in your
pretty good at
court.
short order cooking, so works for me.
Oh, yes. Chris says Miriam wants all the Bucky swag. No specifics, just all of it.
I think you can actually petition to have a Buc-ee's merchandise storefront in your backyard at your own leisure if you raise enough signatures.
It would be
Yeah,
fun. It would be fun to have if like we were rich and we had a giant house with like random rooms that needed decor, just have
sure.
A Bucky's room that everything was like Bucky's themed. That would be
Here
awesome.
is here is my Buc-ee's themed room, and here is my
Yes.
all themed room, and here is
Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, goodness. All right. So we are coming up on an hour, but I want to make sure that I didn't miss any questions. Oh, Lydia's here. Hello. I forget her channel changed names. It used
okay.
to be Keto something, I think, and I can't
Okay.
remember what it was, but good
My
to see you.
my memory, my detail recall is pretty diminished at the moment.
That's
With
understandable.
that.
Yeah. Um Let's see. Risa said the bread is made. This is the Southern
Southern
Keto
keto
bread
bread.
recipe. Is made with an eggy batter and works well in a lot of applications. I've made garlic bread with it, baguettes, buns, easy and delicious, and no egg white powder involved. Hey, that is a bonus right there.
It
Because
is a
egg white
bonus.
powder these days, not super reliable.
Not
Just
reliable, but also it costs an arm and a leg. We should have invested in egg white powder probably about like 3 years back.
yeah. Yeah. So the now, if you haven't heard, the now egg white powder is no longer a good option for egg white bread because they decided to add sunflower lecithin to it. Apparently, Judy's is still a good option as long as they have one that does have sunflower lecithin and I think it's called an egg white protein powder. But if you just get the egg white powder in the
Dried egg white.
yellow bag, yeah, it's still good. And that's what Alicia is going with for her bakery. She was able to do a bulk order of that, and so she just posted, if you haven't seen, that she has her egg white bread and things
Available for sale.
available for shipping to certain states again. So if you need that for the holidays and you live in the states that she ships to, definitely a great option.
You could also just like there's a ton of bulk food stores out there in the United States. I remember a lot of them when like Bob's Red Mill kind of a place, but a
Yeah.
variety of different things. Just as long as you're looking for just like dried egg whites. Easiest
Yeah.
way to hunt that.
Yeah, just as long as that's the only ingredient.
Yep,
They like to add other things, but we just need pure egg white.
that's right.
Yes. All right, lots of talk about Bucky's. Um, Barbara says this is interesting. Another factor is that Neely now does regular exercise. That changes your microbiome. That changes your ability to utilize carbs. It also changes the way you view yourself. That is a really good point. And I mean, I never didn't exercise. I've always lived a pretty active lifestyle. I've never had like a 9 to 5 desk job or anything, but I definitely have added more intentional exercise and more intense exercise. And I do think that that does make a big difference. And so I guess what I would say is if you're not exercising, my advice is not to adjust your diet to your sedentary lifestyle unless you have to have a sedentary lifestyle for whatever medical reasons. But instead of adjusting your diet, adjust your exercise. Add the exercise to your diet if you can, and that or to exercise to your lifestyle if you can, because
Yeah.
it really is important. It's not just oh, and if you ever feel like it, add exercise. No, it is so important, and it has really helped me um, in all of this.
Yeah.
In I do think it changes your microbiome. I do think it obviously helps you utilize carbs that you're taking in. And then it also, if you're doing exercise that is allowing for you to increase your calories, that is inherently increasing the nutrition you are getting for your body. So if you have a down-regulated metabolism where you're only eating 1,000 calories a day, there's only so much nutrition you can
You
get, like
can consume.
micronutrients in there. And so the higher you can get your metabolism and the more calories you're able to eat, as long as you're picking healthy foods, that's just exponentially increasing the nutrition that your body is getting, which is so important. So there's like so many benefits
Yeah.
to exercise beyond just getting skinny, which for me, exercise has never made me skinny ever. And even this time where I'm exercising more than I have for a lot of my life, it hasn't resulted in weight loss. It probably hasn't even resulted in fat loss. Um, I think it has increased my muscle. Anyways, it's not about getting skinny for me. That's never worked. But it helps in so many other ways that it's like, yeah, just do it. Just do it. Okay, 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 okay. We are over an hour. Um, yep, and Barbara says runners make more ketones. That's why runners feel great. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I ever get into this state, like a deep state of ketosis anymore. Um, but everyone makes ketones at some point, whether it shows up on the ketone monitors or not. So it's hard to know how much the ketones are and what they're doing in my life. I definitely am making less ketones now, I think, than when I was eating very much keto and being more sedentary. I think I had more ketones then than I do now. So I don't know that it's an exact correlation, but it's interesting to think about. Oh, Miriam, he's here. Hello. Ba, 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 ba. All right. I think we will jump off here. We will be back next week, same time,
That's
same
right.
place. And
The
thanks for
date.
joining us, everybody.